You may be cooking on Teflon and you're eating all that healthy foods, but you're cooking on things like Teflon, which are endocrine disruptors, which are going to ultimately destroy all of your glandular functions in your body, like your thyroid, like your ovaries. Hello, Dr. Cooper here, In Harmony Functional Medicine, where we are cultivating a climate for wellness. Today we'll be talking about one of the topics that you asked us to talk about. And I'm so excited about this topic because I know there's a lot of you out there who are dealing with difficulties and discomforts when you start to eat right. Somebody has told you this is the diet plan for you, and you try the diet and you simply feel worse. You've got more bloating, you've got more headaches, you're getting swelling, your energy is worse, you're sleeping, you're just not sleeping very well. So if any of you have started a new diet, whether it's keto, whether it's paleo, whether it's Oreos, no matter what it is, a lot of us, we start these diets, whether they're good or bad, healthy or not healthy for us. They should make us feel better. So why is it that you're having more side effects now than you ever have? So today I want to entitle this video, Good Foods Gone Wrong. And today I will also present to you what's called the food hex. These are my 6 reasons why you could be eating a otherwise healthy diet, and you guessed it, you're feeling worse. But first, I would like to thank you for joining our YouTube. In a very quick amount of time, we got up to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm very, very blessed that you all decided to tune in and listen to what we're talking about. So if you're a person who wants to hear more topics just like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, so that you'll get your notifications about other great videos like this. You know, we're living in a very unhealthy time. While we have so much resources in the United States, we're still ranked like number 30 of industrialized countries as far as our health. So we're simply not making the mark. And there's been so many different attempts at improving our health and creating a gold standard for health. In fact, the food pyramid itself is a problem. If you look at the food pyramid, and there's a major emphasis on carbohydrates. If you look at a lot of these structures, the diagrams of foods, and the idea is to eat probably an equal amount of meat as you would eat your other things like your vegetables and your carbs. And this simply is not how our body was designed. So there's a lot of reasons why we're having issues. You're getting so many different recommendations from one person to the next, and everybody believes they know the correct diet for you. When the truth is, we are all so different for a lot of different reasons. Some of us are born in vastly different countries, and we're shipped here. Some of us have moved here from different locations in different countries, and we're trying to adopt the habit, lifestyle, and diet according to the American model. When the truth is, the American model simply is not sufficing for any of us immigrants. The truth is, the diet that's been created for us here in the United States is based on convenience. That's where we get our diet from. Matter of fact, in the 1950s, there was this major emphasis that was put on conveniency foods. This is where you start seeing major processed foods start shooting up in the market. We started noticing processed foods, groups like Kraft, groups like Hormel. They made their $1 billion during this time because it was wartime. It was wartime, and we needed convenience. So you start to see these processed foods, and we're still eating these processed foods. My key takeaway, and I share this with everybody, here we are, decades later, and we're expecting peace in our bodies, but we're still eating like we're at war. So maybe there are some things we can do to make those foods healthier for ourselves. It may have to do with how we're producing the food, how we're cleaning the food, how we're cooking the food. But there's something that we must do in order to keep up our health in an otherwise unhealthy environment. Today, I want to give you my 6 reasons why you're adopting a healthy diet and you are feeling worse. Number 1, digestion. We're having major digestion issues. You may be a person who deals with something like a sensitivity to foods. Well, guess what? A sensitivity to a food product is different from a intolerance, which is different from a allergy. I'll explain further. You may eat a food product and it may give you hives. It may give you scratching, sniffling, itching, and this could be an otherwise healthy food. If it's doing those things, it's likely a food that you're allergic to. You may be eating a food and you immediately get regurgitation, you get stomach pains, you get significant flagellation. Sounds like it's possible that you may be intolerant to that food, whether it's healthy food or not. Lastly, you may be eating a food and you notice little to nothing. In fact, maybe you don't notice anything at all until somebody says to you, hey, have you considered doing a food allergy test or doing a food log? And you say, well, I don't need to do that. I feel great. And they say, obviously, you don't feel great. You're having mental fog. You're having lethargy. You're not sleeping well. Have you considered looking at your food? And this is what tricks us, because we don't believe that we're having any reaction to a thing until we actually check. There's a lot of us who are dealing with food sensitivities, especially those of us with leaky gut. And those food sensitivities, whether it's a healthy food, avocado or a blueberry or not, those could be the very thing flaring you up. Number 2 is handling our food appropriately. If you think about how food was handled traditionally or from an ancient perspective, a lot of our meats that were slaughtered appropriately. Kosher meats and kosher foods, they're drained of their blood supply, which ultimately helps us rid of the toxins that's in that food. The way that we handle our food goes a very, very long way. The way that we store our food goes a very long way. If you're storing your food for long periods of time and it's not at the right temperature, so it's spoiling, or there's mold that's growing on your healthy foods like your pistachios and your other good nuts. If you're a person who has freezer burn on all of your produce and you go to try to revive that freezer burnt food, you may notice issues too. The other thing that comes into play when we talk about handling food, how we cook it matters as well. You may be a person who could be cooking a good thing, like you could be cooking fish. And guess what? When you cook fish at a high temperature, you're going to lose all of its omega-rich benefits. So omega-3 out the window, free radicals through the window, right? So we're going to start creating more oxidized LDL. We're going to start creating plaquing issues by simply cooking it in higher heats. Same thing applies to our vegetables. We may be cooking our vegetables at too high a heat, and it's creating that char that everybody craves and that we love, which is actually a toxic chemical. And we're consuming it and we're thinking, oh, I'm eating broccoli, so I'm getting all of its great sulforaphanes, right? And you may not be getting any of it and only getting the negative effects of overcooking. You may be cooking on Teflon and you're eating all that healthy foods, but you're cooking on things like Teflon, which are endocrine disruptors, which are going to ultimately destroy all of your glandular functions in your body, like your thyroid, like your ovaries. These are all things that could be affected by ingesting these harmful chemicals that are really called forever chemicals, non-sticks and things like that. So the way that you handle your food goes a very, very long way. Number 3, pesticides. When we think of pesticides, think of killing pests. Well, guess what? It has a major effect on us. It may not be as pronounced as an effect, but it has a major effect on us. These pesticides, yes, they're killing off insects, but they're also incredibly toxic to us. If you've ever heard of the dirty dozen, there is at least a dozen, there's more, but there's at least a dozen fruits, vegetables that are incredibly dirty. And this is the reason. They have to be preserved. And because they've got that outer shell, they seem to hold on to the things like Roundup, glyphosate, pesticides, and other things like that. They seem to hold on to it longer. No matter how much you clean it and scrub it with baking soda and vinegar, you just simply cannot get all those pesticides off. This is a major problem. You'll be eating all of the healthy things, and just because you think you're eating organic, you think that there's no pesticides on it. Well, I got news for you. They're there. And so this is another reason why you may be having concerns. And so if you do find that you're pesticide sensitive, or we do a toxic screening test with you to test for these pesticides, then we may elect to move you over to things that are not on the dirty dozen list of fruits and vegetables. Next is GMO. We've heard of GMO, and it's on of all of the food labels now, the non-GMO project. You're now finding on your food labels, even if it doesn't say GMO on the actual ingredient, it may say things like genetically engineered food, which is something that you may see as under the actual ingredients list. Sneaky, sneaky, right? So GMO goes a long way, but we've been genetically modifying foods for a very long time. As a matter of fact, a lot of your fruits and vegetables were not originally what they are now. Your Brussels, your broccoli, especially your cauliflower, a lot of these things, they've been crossbred. This is considered a process of genetic modification. However, what we've done now is we're starting to take the DNA strand out of one item. Let's use corn as an example, and we're placing it in another item. And what we're trying to do, and I use we loosely because I'm not doing any of it. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make these produce last longer through harsh times, through harsh weather. We're trying to make these produce last outside of their natural season. And we're trying to get these produce to survive pesticides. Isn't that something else? We're creating a problem that creates another problem, and we want to be the solution. And so when it comes to GMOs, you have to be very vigilant. There is a lot of different names for GMO. So go through your list of GMO names, and when you go to the grocery store, make sure that you're not buying GMO products, because that's what they are. They're not produce, they're products. This is another reason why you may be having discomforts when eating a perfectly healthy diet. Next is stress. Yep, I said it, stress. How is it that stress could be affecting me? I'm eating a salad. I'm eating healthy fats. I'll tell you why. If you're sitting there and you're trying to eat your salad, and you're throwing it down the pit, down the main drain, and you're eating too fast, or you're talking while you're eating, you're going to create an incredibly stressful environment for your body. And your nervous system, it just doesn't work this way. There's something that's called rest and digest. This is only inactivated during parasympathetic functioning. Means your body is relaxed. You can only eat, digest, rest effectively when you're truly relaxed. If not, then your body is not going to shut off your cortisol process. And that cortisol is going to upregulate. Well, guess what happens when cortisol is upregulating? You're going to inject more insulin through your body than you actually need. So you can be eating a healthy food and your body is dumping you with unhealthy amounts of insulin, which creates and begets a process that's called insulin resistance. This is like the step or 2 steps before diabetics or type 2 diabetes. So it's very important that we actually rest and digest. Why do I say that? A lot of us, we get to the table and we don't even know what our food tastes like because we eat it so fast. We're throwing it back. We don't even know when we're full. So the opportunity for our hormones like leptin, ghrelin to let us know, hey, we've reached satiety. We've shunted that process because we've eaten so fast and we're thinking about everything else. And so rest, digest, and eat your healthy foods. And lastly, of course, is our soil. Our soil is very important. I'll never forget, I had a man in my clinic some time ago. He was from Jamaica, proud to be from Jamaica. And he let me know, he said, Doc, in Jamaica, I can just plant this on the side of the road and it grows. Here in the United States, there's so much that we have to do our soil to enrich our soil. And it's really the truth. If your soil that you're eating from or plucking from, if it's gray, if it's hard, if it's cracked, this is probably not rich soil. Depleted soil simply doesn't look like that. And to tell you the truth, you could be eating a healthy diet here in the United States. And because we have a significant amount of soil nutrient depletion, you still may not be getting but 30% of your daily required iodine, 30% of your daily required vitamin Bs, 30% of your daily required vitamin D. And so you keep eating a healthy diet, but it's very important that we understand where our food and our produce is coming from. Is it coming from places that are highly industrialized? Is it coming from places that have frank and obvious and apparent pollutant issues? Soil depletion goes a very long way. One of the reasons a lot of us are carrying around these pills are falling out of our pockets of supplements, is because the reality is maintaining a healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle for many people will not suffice the way that it used to. Many of us have to replete our bodies, even when we're eating a healthy diet, with key nutrients and minerals as our soils have been depleted. Help your family identify these 6 reasons. Many of them, they've given up already. They change their diet for about 5 days and then they give up. But the truth is, if they know about these things, they're much more likely to continue in their healthy eating journey. But as they continue, now they're a more informed consumer. And so I challenge you as well to be an informed consumer. Think about these 6 reasons why you may be having discomforts, and let's start being a part of the solution. Now, if you'd like to know the Harmony way on how we can fix the gut, the Harmony way on how we can combat this food hex that we're dealing with as a culture, as a community, and as a country, watch the next video.